Everybody, so we're getting ready to head out to the job site again, and this time we're going to go ahead and get that InSoFast foam installed, and along with that we'll probably go ahead and get that installed, and we might get started on the framing, and just we'll see how long video plays out here. The other thing is I'm hoping to get all of the rim joists, so I'll try to get all of the insulation done, and then from that we'll start to jump into framing. So let's get out there. We'll take a look at it and see how well this product works. I'm kind of excited to see, try a new product and see how it works. So let's take a look. All right, well, I ran around the basement here. I thought I'd take a few minutes and talk about the cost of this product and how that relates to what would be how I typically do in the past a wall, which is a treated bottom plate, top plate, and 2x4 studs, and then putting that, attaching those, gluing them to the top, screwing up there. So the material cost on this is not, I wouldn't say, it's probably not quite half, or excuse me, not quite as double by the time you figure everything in there and some materials. Where this one works out, I think, better for me is the labor savings. So if you were doing this yourself, it may not make sense for you to do. And for me, when I look at what my labor costs and my material costs, it's pretty close to a wash. And actually, I like this a little bit better. All right, so it's been about 4 hours and the walls are all white. So this stuff is kind of interesting to work with. You can kind of see, even in here, you can see where the studs are. So this top panel is still loose. Let's see if I can get over here and grab a panel. So these are, I haven't glued that top panel in, because I want to get up there and do my insulation. On these, the ends aren't so bad. I can get in there pretty easily and get the foam I need to. Up in here, that's going to be impossible. So when I pop, see if I can pop one out of here. So I'll pull that fiberglass out, and then I'm going to get some foam, some closed cell foam, and put up in there, and do that. So anyway, so didn't show it, but so I've been putting a bead of about a 1/2 inch bead of the polyurethane, and then that is, where is that stuff? This is the Loctite PL3X Premium, so it's a construction adhesive, and you can put this basically on almost anything. It'll work on foam, it'll work on drywall, it'll work on treated lumber, but so then the other thing is the detail I have to still do is in here. I'm going to extend these out. I'm going to get some, this is 3 inches by the time we get in here. I'll rip some 2x and screw those in. And then over on these windows, I'll build in a basically a rough opening with 2x on the flat and here and on the top. I've treated probably 2x8. We've got, what do I got there? Probably just use a 2x8 and just hold it out a little bit. That's fine. And then I'll just build a box and fill those in. And then my walls on the edge are going to come over here. So the wall will sit over top of that. and cover that. And then the only other thing we still don't have figured out what we're doing is what's getting built around there. I'm hoping I can get them to change this valve to a different style valve that we can get in the wall, but we'll see what the plumber's willing to do. I know we're going to change that shut off, and that's going to go away, and we're going to feed that from a different location so we don't have this, because that shut off will go away. So that's getting refed. But all right, so this stuff, so one of the things you got to make sure is that this gets in and gets stuck the first time. I was a little nervous when I start putting it on, but once they're on there, that will actually glues on pretty good. Once it's set up, I think this will be perfectly fine. This took me about 4 hours, and so I don't think that's too bad. And so the nice part about it is the framing is done, the insulation is done, and we've got, I think, an R10 in here with the foam, and we're up against the insulation, or up against the block, and we don't have to worry about anything rotting or decaying. So yeah, and then we'll, like I said, we'll seal those tops up, and we'll go from there. All right, so we did have all this foam on, and what we're going to do now is I've gone ahead and cut some closed cell foam, and that's 1.5 inches or 2 inch. I don't remember. I get some mix. I had some 2 inch left over, and then I've got some 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches. I don't remember. And then what I'm going to do now is come around, and I've got this spray kit. It's got an A and B part. It mixes in the hose. I've got a little bit of a heater, heating pad. This stuff is a minimum of 70 degrees. It really likes to be a little bit warmer than that. So that's been sitting in there for a little while, and just enough to kind of warm it up. The tank's all shook up. You got to shake these for a couple minutes. And then I've got enough foam to do approximately 2 inches all the way across this whole area out of this kit. So we're gonna get started with that, and I'll get my protection on. I've got goggles, masks, and gloves to put on, and then I'll get spraying. All right. And all our rim joists are sealed all the way around. I'm just starting to put the panels back in, glue those up. Those will be done. And then I think over on this side, I am gonna, we have the room, we've got a bunch of extra fiberglass. We'll stuff fiberglass up in here before I had put those all back up in there. But so as soon as I get these panels back up and get the insulation stuffed in, I think we're ready to go for the electricians. All right, one last detail before we're ready. So I built these boxes around the windows out of treated, and then I've got them tap conned into the sides. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back afterwards, and I'm gonna foam in here, and then a rock. And that's how these make that transition between the wood and the foam. So those get foamed in, and that will go ahead and that'll be ready. So that is all done. I think next time we'll go through either, I don't know if we're gonna go through mechanicals or framing, and but yeah, we should be able to keep moving forward here, and before too long we'll have some rock up.